Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Energetic Life Now show. I am your host, Eric Stenlake. This being our first show of 2024, we want to extend a very warm welcome to you, whether this is your first time joining us, whether you're watching a replay or you're a regular viewer, just sending you out all kinds of love for 2024 and blessings to you and your families. Today's show can be seen and heard on the Spanglish World and Her networks on Zingo TV, channels 250 and 251. And please remember, when you download the Zingo TV app, it is free and it is on your iOS and Android devices. We'd love for you to leave us a rate and a comment and all kinds of good love there. That'd be great. The Zingo TV app as well is also available on Google Chromecast, the Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku TV sticks, all smart TVs 2016 and forward. I don't even remember 2016. Anywho, today I want to give a big welcome to the two guests that are with us today, my dear friends. Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you on the show. Thank you both for coming back. First of all, we have, since we're going to go kind of around the clock here, if we will, Cindy Gould. Thank you so much, Cindy, for joining us today. It's great to have you back. And the magnificent, fabulous Laura Ollinger. I love that we're from all over the country here, tuning in to bring you the latest and greatest of what are we bringing them today? Self-help, reflection, inspiration, motivation. This is how we're kicking off our 2024 year, my friends. So first of all, give ourselves a little bit of time here for introduction. Cindy, would you go first?
Yeah, I'm so loving being back here again, Eric. You know that you are such a dear friend. I'm thrilled to be able to share this show with Laura. Yes, and you can find me, I have a show, of course. That's why we get to be the three amigos here. But I have Create Your Victorious Life, which has a new time slot, Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific. You can also find me on various media, Cindy Gould, Victorious Living with Cindy on Instagram. And you can check out roar.createyourvictoriouslife.com. I'm thrilled to be here. I love the subject we're talking about today and can't wait to get to it because we're going to have a blast.
Wonderful. And Miss Laura.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I am Laura Ollinger. I'm a teen and parent well-being coach, and I am the host of the show, The Positively Healthy Mom. So you are more than welcome to come on my show and watch it on Mondays at 3, which is 3 Central Time. So more than welcome to have your guests come over to my show as well. And everyone can find me on social media at Positively Healthy Coaching. So that's it. I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you both for being here and joining in. Well, we're at the time of which, we're what? January the 10th. How many of us are still on track with ourselves, with our goals, dreams, and desires for 2024? Or are we like a majority of people that have already went, yeah, whatever, I'll try again next year? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of scary to think about it for me. I mean, here we are, literally January 10th, and how many times I have heard from people, I've already given up.
That is scary. So I think there's technically a date that the research shows that is dubbed Quitter's Day. I believe it's January 18th is when they found that the most people fizzle out on their resolutions. So some people still have 8 more days to try to keep it going, and then they're going to be quitters.
You know what I like about people that have quit so far is like they don't need to wait. They just understand and they know I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to quit now. I'm in pre-quitter mode and I'm not going to wait till the 18th.
They're contemplating quitting. Yes.
That's right. Yes. That's it. That's it.
Well, gosh, the other night I was at dinner with and his beautiful fiance and her auntie, and we were just chatting, and I was so impressed because he started his year out with a fast or he actually started that day with a water fast and with pizza on the table. He just sat there and had conversation with us and stuck to his, I mean, he's probably the most consistent human I know when it comes to these things. What I did for myself to make sure I stay on track was I created a group, of women on purpose, so that if and I'm leading the group, right? So it's a mastermind. So if I'm leading that and helping them to stay attentional, and to stay accountable, then it helps me to be accountable, right? So I was like, there's no quitter's day in my future.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to celebrate me for a second here because I've been working really hard already this new year. I'm already down 5 pounds.
Wow.
So that's fab. Now that's all due to COVID.
Yeah,
because I literally didn't eat for days. So I'm gonna chalk this up as I fasted into the new year, and I'm doing great.
Well,
Lord.
Congratulations. I guess it doesn't matter how it's done.
Oh, I was thinking about that. I was like, is this the easy way or the hard way? I don't know. I mean, the COVID part was the hard. That was awful.
Yeah.
But then again, it did save me a little bit of time because literally within like 4 or 5 days, I was down. So that's a positive coming out of that.
Okay.
So, one thing, ladies, that has been on my heart and mind, and it's like, I want to look at this year different. I want to go into 2024 like, I got a time to set my goals. I got to do my goals. Goals are so boring. They just, it's the same thing every year. Like I want to bring a little bit of magic to that. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be, to put me in a mindset and heart space of willingness to engage and wanting to step into, my greatness, if you will, and to really go after those things that I want. And it was so funny that it was just the other day that I saw this amazing post by the wonderful, the magnificent, the amazing Cindy Gould, who's here with us today. And she had an amazing post about word of the year. And I'm reading through that and I'm looking at the list and I'm like, a word of the year. Like I got my goals for the year. I've got my intention statements. I've got all these things in place. And Cindy, that post really, really made me pause to think about, well, what's my word of the year? So Cindy, would you kind of go through that for a minute here and break us down as to what was this all about? How did all this word of the year come about for you?
Sure. Thank you. So it's interesting because I've seen other people do it, and I am a victorious life coach. My goal is to help you to gain victory in every area of your life. Now, the only way you're going to do that is we know, right? As we think, so we feel, as we feel, so we do, as we do, so we have. Well, what are you thinking? I mean, it's literally garbage in, garbage out, or flowers in, flowers out, right? I mean, it's like gold in, gold out. It's literally that. So for me, words are creative containers of energy. And there's that law of cause and effect that is constantly a hum. No matter what, it's constantly a hum. And our life, our inner life. So the words are extremely powerful to me. So that's how that happened. At the beginning of the year, and I look at the life wheel, which we've all three of us done. And I check in and see where I'm at in each area of my life. And so for words this year, what I did was I was really, again, extremely intentional. What words do I want to focus on? What do I want to, like a baseline in my life? What are the things? And for me, I go into a prayer meditative time and I sit with it. until something just is downloaded in my spirit. What is it that I'm focusing on this year?
Yeah.
And so that list I posted was just a handful of words, and whether they work or not, I do take it, and we can grab this later in our chat if we want, but I do take it a little bit further. I have an absolute word for the day. I have a word for the month. I have a word for the week. I do it on purpose. And those words could even be the same thing, but I literally will sit in the morning and I'll do my prayer time, my meditation. What do I need to focus on today? What's my word for today? And words being creative containers of energy. What do I want to create today? Right? So that's where it came from.
That was very beautifully said and articulated. And so what you're saying is what you put in is what comes out. I got that for sure.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. And I love how you phrased it, a container of energy, right? And as I was thinking about my word of the year, I sat with it probably 3 days just to make sure that I really felt that that was the right word for me. And when I say sit with it for 3 days, I mean it's on my mind. It's constantly looping, and I do that intentionally, right? Because it's a good thing. How am I feeling? What am I thinking about this word? How is that going to help me in the action? What is that going to do to produce results? And I allow myself to just go with it. And I knew after like day 2 where I'm still feeling excited about that word, because I think if it wasn't the right word early, within that first day, I probably would have started thinking about other words. I know that's how I roll. And so for me, it was great, because then after it was like day 3, I was like, oh yeah, that is it. That is my word. Right. And I love that. And I think I texted you guys, that I went to my hair artist. Did a fabulous job. Always does. He is the Michelangelo with a razor. He is just phenomenal, right? By the way, kudos to you out there, CJ Ramirez, Shark Tank Barbershop, San Clemente, California. If you want the cut of a lifetime to look this good, that's the place to go. There you are. So going back to that, I'm sitting in a chair, and he's like, "Hey, man, what's going on? How you doing? What's happening?" Right? We have the most in-depth conversations in that barber chair. It's fantastic. And I start talking to him about this word of the day, and his wheels were turning to the point where he just turned off the razor for a second. It was just like, wow, I hadn't ever really thought about it like this. And then boom, back to work, and he's going to town, right? And just having great conversation and reflection time about where are you going? How are you going to get there? Why are you going that direction? And it just brought about all this excitement, because that's what that container of energy is going to do, right? It's going to create that excitement, that momentum to move forward. So that being said, what are your guys' thoughts on your word of the year?
Well, I'm not going to unveil mine yet.
The suspense.
Because you didn't.
You picked up on that, did you?
I'm going to tell you the thinking first, which is anytime I think of a goal or something I want to accomplish, somehow my brain goes to the negative, because I'm a human, and it makes me feel bad. And I think of all the things I haven't done, and it somehow just diminishes me and my energy and my drive to move forward. And so as I was thinking of my word, first of all, it was really hard to kind of narrow it down, and I bounced around over and over. And so I ended up picking something that no matter when I'm thinking of it, no matter what, it doesn't drain my energy. It builds my energy and it makes me feel motivated and it makes me feel excited. And so I think that was really my process, is to like kind of sit, like you said, sit with the feelings of what comes up when I'm focusing on that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great, Laura. Thank you for sharing that. Boy, so much great insight there. Cindy, take it.
You know, I'm not sharing my word either because you two didn't. However, and I actually have two words, which was very interesting for me, very different. But the word that kept coming up for me while both of you were talking, when we're talking about sitting with it, et cetera, is marinate. And
yes.
when you allow that, I mean, you think about it. I know you're a barbecue guy, right?
Yep.
I know he is. And you know, and when you allow, and you know, that those juices and those things to marinate, what's cool is that if your word is like the meat of it all, or you're the meat, and then all that marinating, and you've got the garlic and the green onions and the shoyu. I'm talking teriyaki or kalbi. The shoyu, the sesame seeds, you know, all of the brown sugar, all the things, right, that go into the sauce. And it's amazing when you allow that to happen every day. When you focus on that word, it governs your choices. If it governs the activities, the things you choose, because we all know, of course, where our focus goes, our energy follows. And so when we focus on those things, it literally does this fit with what I've designed and crafted my desires for this year to be. Does that choice fit in it? Does that negative thought fit there? Does that alignment with maybe that awesome person, yay, that fits there? Or maybe it doesn't, even though that person's awesome, or the person's toxic. Do I need to, you know, ixnay, if you remember that language, you know, do I need to ditch that relationship because it's not in alignment basically with my word assignment for this year? And makes it easy to govern things. I mean, even with, I think of what you do, Laura, I have so much honor and respect for both of what you both do, especially working with children and families and teens, you know, and how fun it would be. I was working with mind gals, and one of them is a teacher, and she teaches fourth graders. And she said, I'm taking this to them. And I'm like, yes, please. And then, of course, I talked about, you know, what you guys have been crafting with our education and everything with the Institute. And she's like all over it, stoked. Like, we need this all in school systems. But even it gives them really amazing things that they chose. They chose the word to focus on, right? And like you said, you were wise to wait and feel the word that actually motivated, inspired, you know, moved you forward instead of made you feel ugh, right? Which was brilliant for you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you know, and another thing that Laura said was she first had a conversation with her human side, right?
Yeah.
And I think that now that I'm going back and reflecting, I think that happened as well for me, whether it was conscious or subconscious, you know, as I'm looking at, well, what did I accomplish in 23? Was it what I wanted? What would I like to do, need to do in 24? And I think we all heard a comment out of the Neuroencoding Institute not too long ago that the ceiling of 23 is the floor of 24.
Right.
And that statement right there has been helping me to stay without getting negative for long, because I don't know, I'm that person that can go, man, I really botched this right here. This didn't turn out the way I wanted it to this year. Like, geez Louise, if you know, and then it's all the, you know, the woulda, coulda, shouldas and all that. Well, you know, well, that happened because you're right. You know, a bunch of excuses. And I think, you know, sitting with that for that time and letting it marinate, I love that, is I got to work past some of that negativity for me. And then say, okay, well, yeah, maybe I didn't go from here to here, but I went from here to here. And so can I celebrate that? And now looking at where I want to go from here to here, can I start working on that? And the answer was yes. And so now it's starting to break down that goal, and of course, I love to go into the micro goals. What micro goals can I set within the big goal that's going to make it a little bit more palatable to work on? Because if I try to do the big goal, I know me, I'm going, oh, I just can't.
It's too
And
much.
so if I work on these little micro goals, those are those checklists and boxes that I get to check.
Action steps. Yeah.
Action
100%.
steps, right?
Yeah.
So, Laura, how does that fit into what, like, for you when you're talking about, like, I went into the negativity of all the things I should have done, could have done, blah, 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 and then how you put the lid on that pot.
Right. Well, so what it made me think of is, our automatic negative thoughts, which is, we have many different types of those, but one of them is black and white thinking, all or nothing. And so when I look at my last year of what I didn't accomplish, and I just immediately go, well, here, one thing I am working on it is my health and my exercise. And I didn't do as much as I wanted to last year, but that doesn't mean I did nothing, right? I did some. And so then I already look ahead to this year, and we're on January 10th. And there's been a few days where it just hasn't happened for, what all the reasons in the book that I'm too busy on all that stuff, right? But that doesn't matter, right? Because I still have 355 days to go. So I'm not going to just get myself down because my first 10 days didn't go right, because it's more of an overall experience. It's not like I'm going to grade myself so harshly that I failed, right? Because it's not going to be this all or nothing. It's going to be like, well, first 10 days maybe didn't work out as great, but I'm not going to let my 2023 get me down. I'm not going to let my January 1st through 9 get me down, but I have here to move forward, right?
Yeah. That's great. Cindy, yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking, of course, while you're talking, I'm thinking, of course, progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I love that. And you know what? You moved the needle forward. And there's people that in our audience right now, or whenever they get to watch the show, that getting off the couch and physically getting in the tub is cause for celebration. Where there's where there's just been so much trauma or other things that have happened, that literally not Ubering food in and creating a meal is cause for celebration. So the fact that if you spend 5 minutes and even take a quick walk, celebrate that, right? I mean, because we stack our celebrations, which causes, because of the dopamine dump, and we all know that, but we three know that, what causes that us to keep wanting to do it. And I know that I watched Jesse Eitzler turn me on to the 18 minutes a day thing, which if you create something, if you do something for 18 minutes a day over the course of the year, you've done it for 100 hours, which puts you in the top 1% of something that has done that, whether it's learning Spanish, doing Pilates, whatever it is. And I just think, okay, 18 minutes might be way too much for some people. 30 seconds, start with a minute. You're moving something forward. And again, that's with our topic, where does that word fit in? Right? Whatever that word is. It's funny because listening to both of you, if you notice my post, it was January 2nd. I started that post in December. I couldn't get my word right. And I ended up with 2 words. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. And the words work together. But what's interesting is until I got that right, I couldn't post it. I'm like, you better get this right. But I had the same experiences or similar experiences as both of you. And not so much, I was reflective on my last year, and I really had to look for all my celebrations and wins so that I could keep that lid on any negative pot too, right? Negative. So that but wait, Cindy, hold on a sec. Look what you did here. Look at here. Look at here. And then look through my list of goals that I had at the beginning, right? At the end of 2022 beginning, and thinking, holy smack, look at all this stuff you did, But sometimes I think, because all 3 of us are parents, and business owners, et cetera, we get on a roll with everything we do, and we have such high standards for ourselves. We do things and we get things done, right? And because of that, we get on this roll and we do these things, and then we expect this of ourselves, and we probably zip through things without celebrating every accomplishment, right?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, and I think that's really, really important. And I know we've all learned that over, how many years of taking that time to celebrate, right?
Mhm.
Because if I'm not finding the joy in doing what I'm doing, that's gonna go right out the window, gone. I'm not even gonna touch that anymore.
Mhm.
If it's not bringing me joy, if I'm not finding joy in that journey, I'm going to be tossing it out there.
Mhm.
Good morning there, Officer Crabtree. Great to have you with us. Thanks for joining in. So let's talk about this for a second here. The Wheel of Life. Now, Cindy, you mentioned this a minute ago, and I've got mine right here, the Wheel of Life, which I love. Um, And if you just Google it, Wheel of Life, boom, they'll come up the blank ones, and you can change any of the topics on there, right? Which I do with my clients because they're teen young adults, and they're like, wow, yeah, some of these don't apply. Yeah, you're right. Well, what would apply for you? And then fill in the blank if there's something there that would apply to you. So I do this as a way to gauge. And there's 10 little spaces in here. So this is my sliding scale, 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Where am I right now? And so I make that conscious, honest decision, and human nature will tell us that we will be harder on ourselves than if I asked you to, like, where do you think I am on this? You'd be like, oh, you're great. You're fine. This is where you are, right? We will rate ourselves harder, right? Which maybe in turn is why we, sometimes can have a hard time with goals because we don't feel that we're measuring up to expectations that are being set because we're not praising ourselves enough along the way in the journey. So I look at that and I say, okay, well, here in this section, I think I honestly feel that I am I'm a 3 right here. At the end of this year, where do I want to be and why? And I sit down and I go, okay, spirituality. That was the one that's pointing right at me. Maybe there's a reason why. It's pointing, looking right at me. So I'll take spirituality. I think I'm at a whatever number. Where do I want to be and why? And then I start writing my best life. What would that look like at the end of 24?
I love
So
that.
I'm not focusing on the number, like, oh, I want to be at an 8. Well, what's an 8? And I go back and I look at, okay, what do I want to do? I want to have more inner peace. I want to be calmer I call this my core, calmer in my core. That's my inner peace. I want to be able to learn a new skill of, I don't know, deep breathing. I want to jump into deep breathing this year. I want to jump into journaling. Or I'd like to do and explore this. And explore is a great word. Because it doesn't mean you have to be perfect at it. It means you're going to explore and learn a new skill. So then, as I take that spirituality, I'm at a 3, and then I'm going to say, okay, well, what would if I did all that, where do I think I would be on that scale of 1 to 10? Well, I would be here or I would be there. And I mark a tentative mark on there. And then I'm going to leave that open, and I'm not going to look at that anymore because that's just that sliding scale that's going to be here. Now I'm going to take these things that I want to do. Those are the things that I want to accomplish within that scope of spirituality. Now I start with my micro goals. Okay, if I want to have better peace and I want to do this, I want to do this. Now, where does that fit into my daily routine? Well, in my rise routine, I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to journal. I'm going to get into gratitude. I'm going to focus on, 10 things that I can list right off the top of my head that I'm grateful for. Ready, set, go. As fast as I can. Boom, hit them. Maybe I'm going to journal that down and try to tomorrow not say any of those things, but look for 10 new things. And so I'm going to get into all of that within that scope of spirituality, if you will, and then really begin to target those specific things in my daily routine because I want to develop habits around that. I want to develop good habits with consistency in my action around that. That's going to produce the results that I really want to get.
Mhm.
So, would you guys fill in some gaps there? Fill in some of your thoughts and ideas. How do you do this? Where does it show up for you? How to put the J in your oi to make joy?
Yeah. That's my favorite, one of my favorite sayings of yours. Go ahead, Laura. I would love to hear.
Yeah. Well, when I think of myself, what I think of is, well, I'm going to unveil my word right now. So, yeah, I, because that'll. So this word is gonna. It might be unconventional, so I'm asking for no judgment. But my word is result.
I love it. I love it.
And the reason why that's my word is because somehow that makes me think of the end. And when I think of the end, that's the end result that I want. I instantly go into a more energetic state. It instantly moves me into action. I instantly feel kind of like, motivated or inspired to do that. And so throughout kind of my life and my process, in the way I do things, I always have things going. We all do, right? Like these things going on that I'm working towards. And so somehow I craft my days with my priorities, which we all do. And that's why my health kind of fell to the lower end last year because I was working on some other things. And let me tell you, I killed it on some other things in my life. I nailed it in these other areas, but that's why there's this wheel of life because we want to see where we're balanced and where we're out of balance and, what could grow, what's doing great and let's celebrate that. And so kind of to fill in where you are, that's how I craft my days is what do I want my result to be for this day, for this month, for this year? And that will determine how I spend my time and what habits I'll create.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's great, Laura. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that word.
I love that.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all when you said what it was. I'm like, that makes perfect sense because I know you.
Yeah.
And I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Eric, with what you were saying about the wheel of life, first of all, I love the word result, by the way, too. And I think it's such a great governing word of everything because it's an easy one, too. Is this behavior, is this thought, is this feeling going to get me the result that I'm really wanting? I mean, that's just fabulous. To me, that's a fabulous word. Not like no judgment. I'm judging it like with big fat yay, praise. That's
Totally.
like fabulous word. And something else you said too kind of struck me. I think one of the things, and I know I grew up this way, we always try to create so much balance, right? And you can't ever, I mean, you think about even in a marriage, one day you're swooping in, volleying the ball for somebody because they're having a rough day. I mean, there's not a real, 50-50 balance. One of the things that I've learned is to do my best to create harmony. And it's a different frequency, but it allows me and gives me permission to have things that aren't in balance, right? In certain areas of my life, because I mean, your website is gorgeous. I use it as a baseline and you slayed it this last year. Some of the things that I got to see, and I know you did lots of things behind the curtain that nobody saw that you totally killed, I'm sure. But even when you posted the cute pictures about your relationship and other things, I was just like, okay, this is really awesome. And I'm cheering you on as your sister friend, yes. And I get it too, from being a single mom and the things that you have to do your best to show up be present and showing up, meaning not just show up because it's a soccer game, but show up and not be on your phone. Show up and yell and scream, yay, you made the touchdown or whatever it is for whatever event, but to truly be present. And sometimes that's really difficult. For me, my words this year, and I laugh because you keep mentioning one of my words, and I am a joy catalyst. And so, and I struggled with the word joy this year because it is what governs my life. It is the way that I encoded my life to be after a series of things. and joy, and then limitless. Those are the two words that just kept coming up. And so I love that, for myself. And I look at that and I think with everything that I do, is this, I ask myself, and that from my thoughts, like, this is how I exterminate thoughts. Is this thought really going to create joy? Is this, because thoughts are words you speak, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And is this thought going to create joy? Now, that doesn't mean it's, I have to do the laundry, you know what I mean? So, or whatever that thing is, right? That you don't want to do maybe in the moment. The result, to use your word, will create joy and will continue. And joy is different than happiness. Happiness is subjective. Joy is an actual, tangible frequency that's just a pipeline. And so that's where I went this year with my words.
That's great. That's great, Cindy. And not surprised at your words either. No, it makes perfect sense, for you. And both of you, like, I totally see that results in joy, limitless, 100% tenfold happening for both of you. So that's phenomenal. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. So, well, geez Louise, I guess I got to share my word too.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. Okay, so here we go. The word that I picked, impact.
Ooh,
I like it.
Good.
And as I sat with that word, impact, it began showing up in every single space on this life wheel.
I love it.
What is the impact that I am going to have on, and with spirituality?
Mm-hmm.
And
Cool.
then I just started going around the wheel: relationships, social life, health, finance, career, family, personal development. And then as I'm going through that, I went into my I am statement without even thinking about it. And I think this is backwards for you guys, but my I am statement is: I am a champion of power, hope, energy, love.
Love that.
And take that under the umbrella of impact into these areas of this life wheel. What impact am I creating for me, for myself, others, and the world around me? That's the ripple effect from this impact.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where, for me now, is I'm going into each of these areas and going, why am I in that space? What do I want to have happen in there? And then go into how do I make that happen? How do I have that impact, both personally and professionally, in this space? How am I a champion of power, hope, energy, love within this space? That's my impact 24. And if I could hire a Hollywood screenplay writer, they would give me the movie trailer, Impact 24. He once was a raving mad lunatic who found hope at the Neuroencoding Institute. Right? I could create this whole persona around my movie trailer of Impact 24. And you know what's really fun for me with that? Because I'm a big goofball. You guys know that. I literally have been going over this in my mind. This movie reel has been playing over and over in my mind. What is my impact? And it's like, I even attached the voice to the guy from Transformers. You guys know the voice, right? I can't do it like he does it, but I hear his voice as he talks about Decepticons coming to Earth, Impact 24. How am I gonna, right? And I just go through it in a playful way to then go, man, that's what's the energy. That's what's attracting these magnets together. And then that energy is in that box. I want to break that box wide open. So this energy is just going out everywhere I go, everyone I meet, every situation I'm in, everybody that I get within that 50-foot rule. No, I want it to be 100-foot rule, a 200-foot. I want everybody to, when I walk in a room, and I'm not the risk of sounding arrogant, I want everything to drop and they go, yo, what's up with that guy? Who's this guy? What's with this guy? They don't even know why, but they're like, well, that guy's got some impact going on. I'm like, that's right. It's Impact 24, baby.
I got a guy that can do that for you. I know a guy. His name on Facebook is Don Mysterio from Empower Network TV. He will create that for you. Like, seriously, he's brilliant. He's doing some stuff. He's brilliant. So just to say, what I love about what you said is that's exactly how I applied joy. I looked at the different areas in the life wheel, and I even wrote it down. How do I bring joy to this area, to me, to others in the world around me? And each, because it's a frequency that's like a snowball. And how do I do that with wherever I'm at? And what we talked about the wheel of life a minute ago, and you've got the lines and there's 10 spaces and whatever. It's so important, and I know we kind of touched on it, to really define and to see and to envision what a 10 looks like to you. And because I'm going to tell you what a 10 looks like to you to this right now, today, January 10th, 2024. It's like what you said earlier about the floor and the ceiling. What a 10 is going to look to you a year from today is going to be different, right? Because what did it look like to us before? But wherever you're at on that wheel, what does it look like? And how do you close the gap? For you, or impact, or you with that brilliant word result too. I love these words. They're just powerful. And do you feel that frequency when you speak it? Like,
yeah, yes, I do. I'm sweating. I'm like, I was cold, but I'm hot, right? It's those the electrons and firing around the body there.
For you, Eric, I love that word because it literally just made my brain like think of a globe, and it's like the butterfly effect. Like your impact is like around the world, which is true. It's actually literally true. but I had never thought of it as breaking it down in the wheel of life, because say we are on I'm going to just talk about the health one because I like that one for you. You being at peak health does impact others, right? Yes. Because you are a role model, or you might inspire somebody, and then it has that ripple effect. So everything that you do in your life does affect others.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
And same with you, Laura. I mean, same with you with your results. Like, every result you get impacts the people that were involved in that result, as well as others that are watching that you don't know. Okay, she did that. I can do that. It impacts the teens, the moms, your family, the checker at, the grocery store, when you feel in your spirit that you just need to put your phone down and connect with that sweet girl that's checking you out at the grocery store, or whatever that is, right? Every result that you get literally impacts, to use that fabulous word, the world, everybody around you, which is so fun. I mean, I'm sitting here having a blast to the two of you, like, so great. I mean, there's so many other things we could be doing today. I mean, it's like I'm getting dumped on, I think, snow-wise again today where I live. But it's a fun, cool way to hang out. And I feel personally uplifted and edified just from hanging out with the two of you, with the impact that you've had on us today, and the results that we're going to have because of it. Super fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
And I want to continue highlighting you, Laura, because your kids probably don't understand or recognize today as teens really the results that you've gotten over the last year.
Right.
And what's even more important, what you've modeled for them and taught them without teaching them
Mm.
for what they have picked up from you.
Mhm.
Like seriously, you have set the stage for your kids' success without even with you're thinking about what your own stuff and doing. And
Mm.
I'm saying this to congratulate you, and also to see if you'll go into talking a little bit about parents with teens,
Mhm.
to talk about the modeling piece of this, how
Mm.
and why it's so important. Because when you posted your family Christmas picture, and
Mm.
I was dying. I was laughing so hard. Like you and the girls, you're like all posed and Christmas beautiful. And then the guys being guys, like
Mhm.
shirts off,
Oh, yes.
tank tops, gun show, and flexing. I'm like, that is just perfect, right? And and it was such the gamut from one side to the other of
Mhm.
joy and grace and the dudes and just being guys, and how happy you guys all are and
Mm.
were for that time and place. And I
Mhm.
know that you have had a huge instrumental piece of that puzzle for your kids this year.
Mhm.
And so, what would you say to your positively coaching families and moms about how to set that stage up for them, and how can
Mhm.
they have success in that as well?
That's
So
such a
good.
good question. Well, the way I'm going to answer that is my first question is, would you want to be parented by you?
Yeah,
Mm.
great question.
And that's my first part. My second part is uh, regarding self awareness. So that's a topic that I've really been diving deep into lately. And I have done some research. And apparently, according to studies, 95% of people think that they are self aware. But when they were tested, apparently only 10% actually were. So that's a big gap of people who think
Yeah,
that they are. And so when I think of modeling for my kids or having parents, and by modeling we just mean they copy your behaviors. You can tell them all day long, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, but they're not going to clean their room. But if they see you keeping a clean space,
yeah,
organizing, feeling good, saying, oh my gosh, it feels so nice to be in a clean space, then they're going to be like, oh, well, mom said that. So maybe in my head, oh, it might be nice to have a clean space. Oh, you're right. That's where it comes from, mimicking or following those behaviors. So what I was going to say was, I'm going to bring it to a specific client that I have in mind, a past client of mine, where the mom really wanted the daughter to do something. And I don't remember what it was. And so she was kind of going through her script in her head. Could I say it like, or to me out loud, but she was saying, should I say this? Should and I said, I'm going to have to be honest with you. It really feels like you're kind of shaming and blaming your
mhm,
daughter. And how could you rephrase that
mhm.
so that she doesn't feel that shame and blame? And so then she rephrased it and she got it about 50% better. And I said, I'm going to have to be honest with you. That's still kind of feeling very blamey to me. And so when I think of parenting and modeling, what I think of is I just be your best as far as showing love, showing grace, showing compassion, being love, being graceful, being compassion, and just kind of living your life that way outside your house, inside your house. And then you don't even have to try, because it becomes who you are as your identity of a person. And that translates into your parenting.
That's beautiful. Yeah, well said. And I love that and applaud that. And I love those questions. Would you want to be parented by you? That is gold right there. That's absolutely awesome. So, Cindy Gould, as we are wrapping up the show here for today, give us again a breakdown of where we can find you on social media.
You can find me Cindy Gould on Facebook, or Victorious Living with Cindy on Instagram. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn as well. Createyourvictoriouslife.com. And thank you, both of you, because this was a blast.
Thank you so much, Laura. And to find you too.
Yes, the easiest way, first step is positivelyhealthycoaching.com.
Beautiful. And of course, you guys know Energetic Life Now on all the social media channels. So hop on and say hi and hit me with any questions, comments, rude remarks, anything that's burning on your heart and mind. I'm here to answer your questions. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today's show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check it out at spanglishworld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thanks you guys so much. We'll see you soon.